Permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
I'm from a place where they don't deliver pizza and won't deliver my people, even if they call on FEMA. A place where black women say they don't need you, where everybody broke and selling dope the only way to feed them. Shit is football, fucked up beyond all recognition. Crackers down 2 million niggas in prison. Now move your ass over, cause I'm coming hard like Captain with sharp garment at the 49 pass. They already know, don't piss me off and make me ground captains to draw me up and load them up with 17 shots of Captain Compton's on and bust every round and make them connect like high-speed Wi-Fi. So don't call that motherfucking iron radio. Run west, this ain't what you want. Breakfast club ass niggas, we ain't saying y'all alone. Get the damn receipt, all three of y'all, and I ain't free. You don't know me. Living. Nigga walk past, he ain't had that one West juice step. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. Nigga gave me dap and the dap was weak, we ain't like that. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. He wanted to leave the crib cause he walked in and I was cleaning my tab. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. They got live at camp and he voted quick, he ain't one right. I'm a straight goon, I'm a straight savage, I'ma let him have it. Nigga, shut your mouth, this is not Christian rap. Glocks 940, top the end of that. Debating who real, I'ma put an end of that. I shoot BK, real run west. Roll up the camp, I be beating my chest. Feeling in the spirit, about the blazing shit. I'm on fire like I have some cases shit. T-shirts at the table for our agents in. Hurry up and buy on some Asian shit. Pause that. Everybody know Christ black. 2017, you can't fight that. Kill a right hook, they think Mike back. Kill a crossover, Mike back. King of pop, Mike back. When I'm in your poppy at, someone sooner familiar. Hey, you watch that nigga. Yeah, he ain't familiar, I'm a big man. We do big things in a big room with the big boss. I don't jump for shit, I ain't crisscross. I'm a raptor breeze, it's the 6th law. Left Philly, what it's hitting for? About to go out the Boston. This the find something chocolate with the thick thighs and the soft eyes. He ain't one West, I don't know the guy. I come in the pink, get him posterized. In my jacket stamp, bitch, I'm notarized. He ain't one West, I don't know the guy. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. Nigga walk past, he ain't had that one West juice step. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. Nigga gave me dap and the dap was weak, we ain't like that. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. He wanted to leave the crib cause he walked in and I was cleaning my tab. He ain't one West, he ain't one West, he ain't one West. They got live at camp and he voted quick, he ain't one right, he ain't one right. The sheep is hiding, that camp they crying, now people be sliding. The earth colliding, it must be flying. Israel dying, the mothers be crying, the white man be lying. With all the billions in the world, as we aim for the sky. The white man is the devil, want a piece of the pie. On your knees praying, asking a high power. Why the BHN is always getting devoured. Cause he condition your mind to being a coward. And talk like a Christian, shout like a Christian. Everybody must learn to wanna be Christian. Stop this, tune in and listen. I should be K classes, teaching our masses with the scriptures. There is no contradiction. Fake camp, there is no competition. You can't love Esau and teach the scriptures. So just I wish that every single one of these motherfucking crackers would. But I violence against Jacob, your perpetual hatred, you got it. Esau's gotta burn, as it says in the word, you got it. Just vanish. No one waking up before 8 a.m. to build apartments that a nigga can't afford to live in. No one contemplating robbing a bank. What would happen if I pulled my boss up with the shake? The niggas ain't talking to me crazy, straight abusing and drink. And the satisfaction it ain't worth catching a case. And I got to do this shit here for my son's sake. But it's hard in this world when you're surrounded by snakes. If they was gone, my father probably would have been in my life. My nigga Mike wouldn't have lost 30 years of his life. My nigga Jack, I would probably be rocking a mic. Instead of me wishing I could bring her back while I write. No more brothers that's whipping up in the kitchen. No more daughters stripping or even selling their kitten. No more kids playing negative for more than victims. We could enjoy this whole planet, every black and Hispanic, if they just. I wish that every single one of these motherfucking crackers would. But I violence against change of your perpetual hatred. You got it. These swords gotta burn as it says in the word. You got it. Just vanish. Yo, some mistake you smash, you can't hold me, nigga. I'm a bitch, you catch your bullets, so who hold me, nigga? All 2018, disowning niggas. Don't feel bad for them, nah, this is what I'm on, niggas. Niggas think it's about flowing, rhyming words. My words rhyming, this wolf can flow backwards. Get a brain and a double nigga, shoes is black. Etc. The average nigga saying that will never pull a lever when it's necessary. York nigga, legendary, ill town, credit heavy. I'm a beast and a savage, you can't tame or train it, it's hereditary. Pops is one, so son is one. I got the gun, it got a drum. Hey yo, who you gon' call? If I finish straight by Siete and leave your news opposed to al dente. Break your taco meat cause you ain't like the crunchy. And crackers should vanish. But if you acting like them, you could vanish with them. Shoot your back like a wall and commit vandalism. I had to hand it to him once he stopped fucking with the crackers. Now I won't reject them when he down with it. Every single one of these motherfucking crackers will. But I violence against change of your perpetual hatred. You got it. These swords gotta burn as it says in the word. You got it. Just vanish.
Yeah, go ahead and clap it up. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Of course, we're not affiliated with any other fake Israelite group. If you're not in the ISUPK, you're not in the truth.
Right.
And I cannot stress that enough, man. We've been seeing fake Israelite groups pop up any and everywhere these days. Everybody wants to be a leader, but don't nobody know how to follow. Don't nobody know how to take orders. Don't nobody know how to even teach.
Right.
But you wanna lead men, and that's exactly how you get stuff like the Black Panthers and you get gangs and everything like that. Those men who was trying to lead didn't know how to follow. It was really men who were warriors and didn't have anybody above them to tell them how to actually be a warrior.
That's right.
Actually, how to be a warrior according to the Most High in Christ, and according to the scriptures. So that's what we're gonna get into tonight. And one of the biggest things that we've been seeing, anybody can answer this. What did we just see on social media and everything else in the past, I say the past 2 weeks, about our men? Like, what we've been seeing? Go ahead, True. Weakness. That's a good one. What's something else? It's a word I'm looking for. Somebody try. Come on now. Go ahead.
Selling out.
Selling out. Definitely selling out. One of the biggest things that we've been seeing. Go ahead. You got it? Cowards. That's the word I was looking for. Give them a hand.
Right.
What we've been seeing ain't nothing but just straight up cowards. Like, it's so, and it just makes your stomach turn when you see a brother, for once get some testicular fortitude about himself, and then backpedal like a bitch.
Right.
Like, God
Right.
damn, come on, man. Like, come on, like, really, Nick? Like, okay, so we're gonna get into it. Before we get into that, I ain't gonna start, bashing the brother just yet. You know what I'm saying? Lil B with that brother, but we're gonna get in on him and a couple other celebrities too. And I'm tired of seeing weak men. My problem since I was younger was it was always weak men trying to be leaders.
Right.
And the strong men are lost. The strong men out here fighting each other because they're warriors. They looking for a fight. And the white man is pointing them right towards each other. It's like our oppressor is pointing us right towards each other when we're supposed to be fighting them.
Right.
We're supposed to be warring against them the way the Most High said do it. But, they moved him out the way and moved these weak Christian Islamic, Hinduism, Muslims in a way, and them your leaders. And then they start backpedaling and apologizing. Like Farrakhan's no different. I've been seeing a lot of Farrakhan videos pop up as of late too.
Right.
Farrakhan deals with the oppressor. There's a reason that Farrakhan has as much money as he has and is on the level that he is. It's because he's in deal with the oppressor.
Right.
Like that's something that Malcolm X exposed on the whole Nation of Islam right before he got shot by the Nation of Islam. Like I don't even know why this is still a thing. I never understand why the Nation of Islam is still something to be looked at. Like it blows my mind. But anyway, if anybody got Zephaniah 2 and 1? You got it for me? Go ahead, True. My nigga.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Akim and Aqua got it?
Come on.
Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together.
That's pretty self-explanatory, right?
Come.
Keep going.
Yea, gather together.
Who's supposed to be gathering together?
O nation, not desired.
So we obviously are the nation not desired. We can't even speak our truth and say we the Jews that was in the Bible.
Right.
Without us getting bashed, thrashed, you lose your job, lose money, get called an anti-Semitic when you're the Shemitic people.
Right.
Right.
Like, so you're anti yourself, and like it's ridiculous. And I know we've been beating the Nick Cannon thing like a dead horse, but this is something that gotta go out.
That's
Like,
right.
it has to go out because one of the things that people aren't realizing is that is a perfect example of how not to be a man.
Right.
That is a perfect example of what a man of the Lord is not like. And I'm gonna give you an example right now. If you could, brother, go get me Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. Most of y'all know where I'm going with this. And again, these scriptures are going to be so self-explanatory. I'm going to try not to go through them too fast. I'm going to try to, push my time out. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Please, interact so I can, pull this class out. Because trust me when I tell you, these scriptures are going to be self-explanatory.
Right.
You're going to really see how the Most High's personality is. He's not no, you know what I'm saying, no God loves everybody soft nigga.
Right.
Like, that's not what he is. He's not no Christian. He's not no Muslim who wants to hug everybody and walk around a rock and kiss it. That's not him. The Most High destroys people. He destroys cities. He destroys nations.
Right.
He flooded the whole earth, and you got the nerve to think that the Most High is soft? Come on, man. You got that for me? Read that, please.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. Akim and Aqua got it?
Come on.
The Most High is a man of war.
Is a what?
Is a man of war.
He's soft.
Is a man of war.
Nah, he's a bitch.
A man of war.
Keep going.
The Most High is his name.
So if he's a man of war, what we supposed to be? Go ahead.
Men of war.
Damn right.
Right.
Get a young man a hand. You're
Yeah,
supposed to be a
right.
man of war. So if you're supposed to be a man of war, if you're supposed to be a man of war, why is Nick Cannon, why did he backpedal and apologize, then bring a fake Jew on his channel? And did y'all see the interview?
Good night.
Did y'all see the interview? I could only watch 20 minutes of it. I couldn't stomach it. Shabar, y'all are stronger than me. He watched more of it than I did. I couldn't stomach it. Hurt my, I'm telling you, when I say my stomach and my head was hurting, I haven't felt like that in a long time watching something. Like, really. Because I've been so engulfed in, UPK stuff. I'm not used to seeing weak men other than Terry Crews. We're going to get on him too.
Right.
But it's like, when the interview started, Nick Cannon was smiling. The Jewish man wasn't smiling. He was looking at him like, yeah, you below me, and you about to apologize. And Nick Cannon is, I'm so glad I got you on the show, man. It's, you know what I'm saying? This respectable man. And nigga, why? How is he respectable? What he done for our people?
Right.
I thought this was supposed to be about I thought it was Black Lives Matter right now.
Right.
And while he's doing this in the background, he got 3 black fists up in the air.
Right. I seen that.
Yeah, bitch shit, right?
Bitch.
It's a Lakia. But I mean, is it any other word for it? Like that's man. Read that from the top again.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High is a man of war.
Right.
The Most High is his name.
drop that, Trooper, you got that quote I sent you.
Con.
Go ahead and pull that out for me. And while he's pulling it out, can you give me Deuteronomy 7:6? But we're gonna get into this. Like there has to be a certain mindset that you got to start having if you're gonna be a man of the Lord. Your pastor is not a man of the Lord because he don't have this mindset that we're about to bring out. Terry Crews ain't a man of the Lord because he don't got this mindset we about to bring out. Right. All your celebrities, all your pastors, your bishops, all your political black leaders, none of them have this mindset.
Right.
You can't have this mindset and try to be a part of this world or be a part of this nation because this nation doesn't allow black men to do this.
That's right.
They don't allow black people, period. Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indians to think like this. This is how they think, though. If you go to a white Christian church, they think that white people are better than black people.
Right.
Back in the day, they used to have white churches. The white people would sit on one side and the black people sit on another. So you could come in and God loves everybody, but we don't love you enough to sit beside your black ass. So sit over there.
Right.
I mean, this ain't nothing new. Like there's still sundown cities in Alabama. There's still sundown cities in Mississippi. Y'all, does anybody know what a sundown city is? Do I gotta explain it to anybody? Go ahead.
I don't know what it's saying.
You don't know what it is? Okay. So you want to explain it to him? Go ahead, True.
You better have your black ass in the house by sundown.
Damn right. When the sun is down and you black and you out, you get lynched. Or you get beat. Or you get tortured. Or you go missing. If you're a sister, you getting raped.
Right.
If you're a brother, you getting dogs sicked on you. They throwing you in the back of the truck. Ain't no telling where they gonna find you at the next morning. Madison, North Carolina, what is it, 10 minutes from where I grew up? That was a well-known sundown city. Well known. And to this day, the city right next to it, Eden, North Carolina, is one of the headquarters for the KKK. And that's right here in North Carolina. Go ahead.
It's like it, sir. That's when you will wake up the next morning. When they wake up the next morning, they'll find you commit suicide by hanging yourself on a tree the next day.
Right.
Right.
And you know the crazy thing about that is that's been happening. And it hasn't just been happening in North Carolina. It's been happening in Georgia and Alabama and all the other so-called Bible Belt states.
Right.
And it happened in New York. They found somebody hanging in Central Park.
LA.
And in LA. Like, don't think you safe because you out the South.
Right.
Your oppressor hates you no matter where you at.
That's
like that's
right.
that is a fact.
Right.
They hate you when you at work. They hate you when you at home. If you not around them, they gonna try to figure out some way to get around you so they can hate you.
Right.
And then they talk about how they don't want to be around you when they're around you. So I mean, they just hate your guts, man. You got that for me? Hold that. Read Terry Crews's quote for me real quick, cause y'all need to hear this good night. Go ahead and read when you got it.
Con. This is Terry Crews on Twitter. If you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister.
Right.
I have family of every race.
Whoa.
Good.
Hold on. He said it started from the top. Please start it from the top.
This is Terry Crews on Twitter.
Right.
If you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister.
If you're a child of God, you're my brother and sister. Hallelujah. Keep going.
I have family of every race.
Of what?
Of every race.
Brother. We do not have family of every race.
Right.
Keep going.
Creed and ideology.
Creed and ideology. So you just family with anybody these days, huh?
Right.
So it don't matter your belief, your creed, your ideology. Go ahead, True. Officer Salaki.
Well, he basically just said he's a spiritual whore.
That's exactly what he's saying. Give him a hand. That's exactly what he's saying. I'm a prostitute to say it.
Right.
Is what he's saying. And you know what's so heavy about that? That's why he was able to, as big as he is, he was able to be grabbed in the crotch by a oppressor in front of his wife.
Good night.
And he stood there and looked at. He said himself. He looked at his wife like he couldn't believe it. Nigga, why are you looking at your wife? The man who grabbed you in the crotch is right there. What's your wife supposed to do about it?
Good.
She looking at you like trying to see what you gonna do about it. Imagine imagine what she was thinking. Like, this is who I'm, like, as big as this man is, this is what I married. That man just grabbed him in the private and he took it and looked back at me.
Good night.
This is why you can't have these men leading you.
Right.
Like, man, that's anyway. So was that the end of that? Keep going.
We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better.
Why is that so bad? That Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives is better. Go ahead.
For him?
For him.
Because his wife is white.
That could be one big reason. What's another reason? Why would a celebrity not want Black Lives Matter to morph into Black Lives Are Better? Go ahead.
Because he'll lose money, sir?
That's it.
Right. That's right.
His spot in his kingdom, what people in the world don't understand is that when black people become famous and they get money and they do movie roles like playing homosexuals, which he's done, I think on 3 occasions, when they do things like comedy shows, and he's been on Wild 'N Out a couple of times. They've been niggas friends. You know what I'm saying? These types of people, they can't afford to not shuck and jive. They can't afford not to love everybody. They cannot afford to stand up for black supremacy.
Right.
They cannot say that black people are better than white people, even though white people act like they're better than us every day. They can't do it. If they do it, just imagine if we took over all of a sudden like that. Who the hell would Terry Crews be?
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Nobody.
Right.
So he has to make sure that white supremacy stays in place, which we all know this country was built off white supremacy. Am I telling y'all something we don't know? We know that this country was built off white supremacy. We know that everything that's in place, the judicial system, the way the prison system works, this is all stuff, like we all seen documentaries, even outside of the truth. We all done listen to this person, watch this, watch that. We all know that when you go to prison, you a slave, you working for 25 cents, sometimes nothing, making clothes and stuff for big companies. All this, we all know this, and we know that it's filled with black and Hispanics. We know slavery is still real. When you go work at your slave, that's why we call it a slave. You're getting pennies, while there's somebody who's about to be the first trillionaire.
Right.
Like, really? Why he need $1 trillion? But if this empire falls, somebody who has, a couple million like Terry Crews, he's not gonna have $1 million no more. And then he's just gonna be another nigga. And he don't want to be another nigga.
Right.
Like Nick Cannon, he don't want to be another nigga. We saw what had all they said to Nick Cannon was like, hey, no more wilding out. He said, oh, wait a minute. I apologize to every Jewish white man that's ever lived in ever land, ever. That's all they had to do was take Wild 'N Out. They didn't even take the Fox show from him yet. Right. But because he apologized, Fox said, hey, we don't see nothing wrong with it. He apologized. He can still host, what's it called? Yeah, Mad Singer. Man, Nick been shucking a job for a minute, boy. So he hosts that show. It's another show he hosts. What is it? You Got Talent? Is Terry Crews hosting that now?
Good night.
I don't watch it.
Man.
Wasn't that the one Terry Crews?
I thought Nick was. It was a show where people had talent, and Nick was.
Salaki, what was the show that Gabrielle Union tried to sue for because Terry Crews was on that with her? I thought that was America Who Got Talent, whatever.
Maybe, I don't know. Gabrielle Union, I despise. I can't watch anything. Anyway, you got the scripture for me? This is why black supremacy is okay. Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6.
Hold that real quick. And this is why the Jewish man calls himself Jewish, and that's why he won't get his title back to the real people. Keep going.
For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. The Most High thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people.
Above who?
All people.
Above some people.
All people.
Above all people? Brother, you reading that out the Bible?
Come, sir.
So the Bible is saying that he chose us to be a special people above all people. So what's wrong with black supremacy? Terry Crews.
Right.
We all children of God. But right there it's saying that he chose a certain particular group of people to be above all people. So what's wrong with it? I don't get it.
Good night.
Go ahead.
that's a direct cut to what he's saying. To
You damn right.
Terry Crews saying he loved everybody of all creeds and all nations. But the Most High just said that we was a special people.
Just said it.
Good night.
Special people. And ain't just say we was special. What else did he say we was?
Above all people.
Above all people. We ain't just special. We been, and look, it's like a sidebar. And me and Shabayala was talking about earlier these milk scriptures. I told you I had one. I told you I had one. But those types of scriptures, to us, we hear them all the time in the UPK.
Right.
That is a bedrock UPK scripture.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We above all people. But somebody coming out the word, they might not know that scripture even exists.
Right.
They might not know that the Most High picked them over all people. So we have to read something like that, especially when a Christian says something so stupid as we're all children of God and Black Lives Matter can't turn into Black Lives are better. Go ahead.
Salakia, that particular quote was his second quote. The first quote he said was, "We need white people to help us fight this because we don't want we don't want it to turn into black supremacy."
Find that quote for me, if you could. Please find that quote. And while he's finding that quote, you got your Bible? One of y'all got your Bible? Both of y'all do. Get me the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 21. Because we're gonna keep going. While he's finding that, we're gonna keep going into why, what type of personality the Most High has. We already know he's a man of war. So let's see what the prophets was saying. Let's see what the prophets was doing. Let's see how they was moving. What was going on. I guarantee you that it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, what you thought it was, what you think it was. I guarantee you they weren't soft. Especially not Nehemiah. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Nehemiah was, if you ask me, he sounded like Shabayala. And if you know Shabayala, and after we read this, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. You got the quote?
Come.
Yeah, read the quote real quick, and then we'll go into how Nehemiah was.
Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy.
Well, once again, what's wrong with that?
Good night.
We've been living under white supremacy since we got to this.
America's Got Talent.
Oh man. Well, once again, they both shucking the job. Go ahead.
Salaki, we got a question online.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Williams II said, "How can I get more knowledge?"
Well, you're getting it right now. Chris Williams, what city are you in? And we're gonna go ahead and get you in class. Is this a brother?
Gastonia, here, brother.
In Gastonia?
God.
Oh, brother, we right here in Gastonia right now. Every Friday at 7 o'clock, brother. Please come on in. You know what I'm saying? We waiting on brothers like you who looking for that knowledge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Salaki. He said he had slavery right now.
Oh, yes, it's late. Hey, no sweat. Can you put Officer Abraham's number in the chat?
Con.
Yeah, he gonna give you a number. Call that number, and we'll get with you. We will get with you. You got Nehemiah?
Chapter 13, what verse, sir?
Verse 21. Matter of fact, start at 16, because we're gonna get a little context on the backdrop. Go ahead.
Khan out of one Khan. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 16. There dwelt a man of Tyre, also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children.
Whoa, slow down, bro. He said he did what on the Sabbath?
And sold on the Sabbath.
Are you supposed to be working on the Sabbath?
La, sir.
All right, keep going. So this is the backdrop on why Nehemiah is about to get so mad. Keep going.
And sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem.
Right.
Verse 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, What evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day?
He said, what evil thing is this that you do that profane the Sabbath? Like, why are you doing this? You know this is wrong. During Nehemiah's time, Israel was going through all kinds of hell. He like, you know what we going through. Why are you doing this evil, bringing more evil on us? And again, that just goes to everybody else in Israel. So
right.
let's say like Let's stay on. We on him already. Terry Crews. Why are you gonna wear a dress? Terry Crews, as big and black as you is, you gonna put on a dress? As big and black as you is, you gonna dance to Tupac talking about how you want him on a movie? As big as you is, you gonna play in a movie called White Girls, where it's two black men dressed up like white girls, and you want to sleep with the black man who's dressed up like a white girl, and then you don't get mad at the end of the movie when you find out that he's a black man or a man. You get mad at the fact that he was black, not a man, but that he was black. Go ahead.
This one.
What?
And he screwed the white
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he screwed the white boy on the same movie. So why do you keep continuously bringing this evil upon Israel? Because you in the forefront when you were active. Everybody's seeing you. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. When I was in Esau's military and I was stationed in Korea, what was this? 2013. This is the picture that everyone around the world has of niggas in America. They think we all rap like Tupac. I got called Tupac so many times. It's like, they think we all rap like Tupac. They think we all play basketball like Michael Jordan. And they think we all have guns and we all are very dangerous. They were scared to death of anybody who was black. You could be small, skinny, tall, short, it didn't matter. As long as you was a nigga, they were scared. And it wasn't Africans that they were scared of. It was specifically niggas in America. It's a true story. And I used to ask them all the time because we used to have to be in teams with them. They called them Katusas. And I'm like, how y'all, what do y'all think we do? Like, y'all think this and that? Like, what do y'all actually think we do? Oh, wait, well, yeah, on TV, like, we just always see y'all with guns, and, like, we think y'all all have guns, and y'all just, like, I'm like, what? That's what they think, though. In other countries, that's how they see niggas in America, if you didn't know. Sidebar. Keep going with Nehemiah.
Count out of one kind. Verse 18. Did not your fathers thus, and did not our power bring all this evil upon us?
Stop right there. Right there. Didn't our fathers thirst, and didn't our power, Yahweh, didn't he bring all this evil upon us because we was doing stupid stuff like something as simple as selling and working and making people work on the Sabbath?
All right.
Something that simple was getting us messed up and keeping us in captivity. After we was already getting punished, you want to keep getting punished because you want to make a little side hustle on a Saturday. Man, sit your ass down, man.
Right.
And go ahead and jump to verse 21. I'm going to tell you why this reminds me of Shabbat Yahweh.
Count out of one kind. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 21. Then I testified against them.
Whoa. Read this loud. Start from the beginning. Read this loud.
Count out of one kind. Verse 21. Then I testified against them. And said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay my hands upon you.
What did the prophet Nehemiah say that he was going to do if they did it again?
I will lay my hands upon you.
He going to lay hands on them. These men, the men of the Lord are not soft, man.
Damn right.
Follow these laws, or Nehemiah say he going to put hands on you.
Right.
Now, I don't want nobody to get it twisted. If you come into UPK, we ain't saying we're going to, whoop your ass if you start going off. But what we are saying is that we're not soft.
Right.
And the men in the Bible are not soft. This whole blonde-haired, blue-eyed Christ, that is not, that he loves everybody and he was letting little boys and girls sit in his lap like a pedophile and doing all this other stuff. Like, that wasn't Christ. That wasn't Christ at all. A matter of fact, I'll show you a verse of Christ and see if Christ was just as hard as Nehemiah. Give me, this for you, give me Luke 19 and 27. Y'all gonna love this. I love this verse. I absolutely love this verse. And once again, we're gonna start getting on Nick Cannon. Now, Nick Cannon, as everybody knows, said the Jews was black, the white people were the true savages for the stuff that they did to us, which is absolutely true.
Right.
4 years of a Holocaust is not comparable to 400 years. And yes, it was 400 years because slavery started in the 1400s. It did not start in 1619.
Right.
It started in I think 1451, and then it was really established in 1498. So 400 years of slavery is absolutely. I mean, like, go ahead.
Salakia, 500 years we call it Northern Kingdom.
Yeah, 500 years, and that's just this.
Come.
If you go back further than that, we have been slaves to the Muslims already. That's how we got the slave markets in the first place. The African tribes and the Muslims got together, tore down our little kingdom that we had built up in Africa.
Right.
And then we got in the slave markets. Then little nasty Africans sold us to Europeans for gold and guns.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's heavy what you said, because when we fled out of Israel into Egypt, that's why we fled to the west banks or the west coast of Africa, fleeing Islam or Muslim persecution.
Right. Because we was just trying to get around people who damn near, had the same skin color as us.
Right.
Have you ever seen a Nigerian or a Ghana or Ghanaian? They got the same skin color as us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think they. Of course, like if you ever been around Nigerian or somebody from Ghana, they don't look like niggas in America.
Right.
But they got the same skin color and skin tone like us. So if we wanted to go hide somewhere, Europeans can't tell us apart. They just see, oh yeah, he black. Oh, he got dark skin. So we went and hid among them. We hid for 1,000 years. And then the Africans got tired of it because we started flourishing in they land. We started flourishing. So they got jealous and they got mad. They teamed up with the Muslims. And then they put us in slavery. And then they sold us to white people. And then they sold us to more white people. Go ahead.
They couldn't even, if Christ was a white boy, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil, he was running from the police. They'd have found him a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he stepped into Africa, he might would have to turn back around. If he was blonde hair, blue eyes, he was better hiding off in Italy.
God.
He was like,
God.
It was, Egypt and, Nigeria and Niger and all those places is not the place for him to hide. If he was blonde hair and blue eyed, which he wasn't.
Right.
So, you got 21. Keep going with 21. Start from the top.
Salakia, sir.
Oh no, take your time, cause we're gonna really drive this one home. While he's getting that again, you got Luke. Go ahead and start with that.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 27.
Oh, the question: what color is these words in?
Red.
So this is Christ. This is Christ speaking. So this is the personality of Christ. We already read in Exodus 15:3 that the Lord is a man of war.
Right.
So let's see how Christ was. This is out of Christ's own mouth. Go ahead.
But those mine enemies,
Those mine enemies. So he got enemies. Go ahead.
which would not that I should reign over them.
Stop right there. Hold on. So Terry Crews lied again. So, Christians believe that Jesus is God and God is Jesus and the Holy Spirit mixes in there somewhere. So, does God love everybody? Why has Christ got enemies? Why is Christ saying that he has enemies? And what he's about to say next is so pivotal. Start at the top. Go ahead.
But those mine enemies,
But those mine enemies,
which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them.
And do what?
And slay them before me.
No, hug them.
Slay them.
You sure?
Slay them.
Kiss them.
Slay them.
Everybody loves everybody, though.
Slay them.
Good night. Why are we killing people, Christ?
Before them.
He said, come bring them before me and slay them. He ain't say, hey. You know what I'm saying? No, Christ said, I want to see it.
Right.
That's Christ. He said, I want to see it. Bring them before me and slay them. The ones who don't want to be up under me. Bring them here. Let me see them die. Go ahead.
And I want them to see me.
You damn right. Imagine you've been talking big, like you know what I'm saying, been saying I'm trying to hold my language as much as I can. Like, imagine you just been talking the most crap about a king, and then his servants find out, they grab you and they take you to the king, and the king looking at you like, slay him. Right. And you like, whoa. And there ain't nothing you can do. You're gonna be looking him in the eyes while you get your head cut off. Go ahead, officer.
God, this how you know Christianity is a crock of you know what.
Oh, yeah.
Because they tell you to love everybody. Christ didn't love. Christ said slay him. They showed him some love, all right?
Slay him. Before me. Bring him before me and slay him. That's hardcore, ain't it?
Damn right it is.
Damn, that's more hardcore than Nehemiah. You got the Nehemiah back? That's more hardcore than Nehemiah. Read that again in Nehemiah.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 21. Then I testified against them and said unto them.
First of all, he testified against them, which is what we do every Saturday across the nation.
That's right,
what we do online every day.
Right.
We testify against people who do stupid stuff.
Right.
When you smoke weed, we testify against you. When you eat pork, we testify against
right.
you. When you beat on women and talk about going and sleeping with women of other nations, sleeping with oppressive women and what other kind of women? For some reason they think Asian women are attractive. I don't understand that at all. That's surely a dog. But so they talk about doing all this disgusting nastiness. But what did Nehemiah say?
Then I testified against them.
I testified against them. Keep going.
And said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall?
Mm-hmm.
If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
He said, why you sinning, man? It's to the point where if you sin again and put this nation at risk, I'm going to beat your ass.
Right.
Like, what? That's not soft. What was you about to say, Drew?
I was about to say, he gave him a check.
Oh, yeah, he gave him a checking on their life. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee they ain't go out there no more. Nehemiah, the prophets ain't nothing to play with, man. Go ahead.
In today's time with Christianity, they tell you if you sin, you're going to hell.
Right. They tell you if you sin, you're going to hell. But what is sin? Go ahead.
Transgression of the law.
Transgression of the law, which is everything a Christian does.
Right.
Every single thing a Christian does is transgression of the law. Eating pork, going to church on Sunday, worshiping that damn Christian pastor along with the white Jesus and the cross and the holidays. The holidays. Go ahead.
And they have no clue we're in hell right now.
And you damn give him a hand. And he fixed my glass for me. I be telling people this at work, and it blows their mind because I mean they can't dispute it. But I'm like, we in hell now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, hell's right here.
Right.
We in hell right now. We don't run shit. What do we run? You barely run your house.
Right.
You can barely run your house with that dragon you living with. Go ahead.
Good night.
Try to run away from the police when they coming for you.
That's about the only running you doing.
Right.
Running when you're working out, running when you're running from the police, running when your boss tell you gotta hurry up at work. That's when you're running.
Right.
We ain't running nothing on this earth, man. It's like Officer Ryan. Give him a hand. Officer Ryan 5000 in Chicago. That's my nigga right there. But Officer Ryan said that how did guns get in Chicago so much and there's no gun stores in Chicago?
Right.
He's in Chicago. He lives in Chicago. He grew up in Chicago. He's from Chicago. Hey, I think he did a little stint in Baltimore. But I mean, shit, it's Baltimore. That's just as bad as Chicago.
Right.
There's no gun stores in Chicago. So how guns get in Chicago? We don't own companies and freights and that. Did y'all hear about about Amazon getting in trouble with the sex trafficking? Wayfair. Did y'all hear about that? Sis, did you see it? Sis saw it. Y'all, hey, look, y'all gotta get up on your game now. Y'all gotta get up on your game now.
Lucky, sir. I saw the Wayfair, but I didn't see the Amazon.
Yeah, oh yeah, they was buying them little kids off Amazon website too.
Come on.
Yeah, the cabinet that you buy for $12,000, the cabinet named Marcus, you buy for $12,000.
Come on now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Bezos just made 13 mil in one day, wasn't it? 13 mil?
13 million. I think it was billion.
Oh, Slocky.
I think it was billion. It was billion.
Good night.
But in one day. How you do that? Legally. I ain't never heard of that, y'all.
Organs.
It's more than just organs. Everything. And imagine what they do to them before they get the organs. Right. Like, good night. And it's the world we living in. And you trying to tell me this ain't hell? Imagine what they going through when they first get picked up. They don't know what the hell about to happen. And then next thing you know, you in an auction room, getting auctioned off like a slave. And they mean to tell me this is supposed to be God loves everybody society? No, man. I can't wait for this kingdom to fall.
Right.
That's right.
Cannot wait. Give me we're gonna see how hardcore Job was. Give me the book of Job, chapter 29, verse 17. You heard this one, True?
Job 29:17.
Mm-hmm.
Sure I have.
I'm sure you have too. We're gonna touch upon it.
Oh, come.
Yeah, I thought so. We're gonna see how hardcore Job was. Once again, we just showing how hardcore the prophets of the men was. They wasn't your Christian pastors, they wasn't your Terry Cruzes, and they wasn't your Nick Cannons.
Right.
Keep going. Go ahead. You got it? Go ahead.
This is the book of Job, chapter 29, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Akim and Aquas got it.
Come.
And I break the jaws of the wicked.
Good night.
You know what, hold on. let's just think about that for a second. Nick Cannon. So, matter of fact, let's go back to Terry Cruz's big ass. So, the man grabbed your privates, and what did Job say he did?
I break the jaws of the wicked.
Now that's pretty wicked, like to grab another man's private in front of his wife. That's assault, sir. Everybody understand that's assault, right? That's sexual assault.
Right.
Yeah, at that point you can defend yourself and you can get away with that.
Damn right.
Now we don't condone violence, but we definitely condone you defending yourself.
That's right.
Here in the UPK, like I don't know what they condone in the Christian church, because so many kids get molested. But what we do condone here is that you protect yourself and your wife. Imagine if he can grab his crotch. Imagine what he might allow to happen to his wife.
Right.
Good.
You're supposed to love your wife like you love yourself.
That's right.
So you don't love yourself for your manhood not to get grabbed, but you gonna go. What did Job say again?
And I break the jaws of the wicked.
I break the jaws of the wicked. And he said, "Yeah, I'm slaying that. Boom, your jaw broke. It's over.
Dang.
Keep going."
And pluck the spoil out of his teeth.
And pluck the spoil out of his teeth. Like he knocked the teeth out.
Dang.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Like did I not say it's gonna be kind of pretty self-explanatory? Like I break the jaws of the wicked. All right, well, don't be wicked. Go ahead.
Somebody tell that to Kirk Franklin these
Oh
gospel
man. Why you gotta bring him down? He too busy stomping, man.
Right.
Kirk Franklin, boy, I tell you what, oh man, it's damn near disgusting to watch that man in the interview.
Right.
It's pretty gay. I'll leave it at that. Drop that. Give me Ephesians chapter 6 and start at verse 10. Ephesians 6 and start at verse 10. This is something else for Nick Cannon. We're gonna stay on these celebrities a little bit because we have to get it in everyone's head that these celebrities are not our leaders.
That's right.
They get paid to do things. They get paid to say things. That's not what a leader does. A leader does something because it's right for his people.
Right.
A leader says something because that's what his people are supposed to hear.
Right.
Not because it's what they want to hear, but it's because it's what they're supposed to hear. And he grabbed, you know what I'm saying? He grabbed his balls a little bit and said a little something.
Oh man.
And then what'd he do? He put that car in reverse quick, didn't he? It ain't take 2 days. And then got the nerve to say that black people turned on him. You turned on black people.
Right.
That's what you did. And that's how we know you're not a leader. I don't give a damn what movie or Dr. Sebi documentary you think you about to come out with. And I'll guarantee you that got a bunch of bullshit in it too.
Right.
Like, you kidding me? You backpedaled on that? Imagine somebody watching the documentary. Let's just say, I'm not saying it happened, but let's just say, oh yeah, Dr. Sebi did find a way to cure AIDS. You think Nick Cannon gonna put that shit in that documentary? All they gotta do is say something to him and be like, hey, yeah, put that in there if you want to. Oh no, master, I ain't. Shit, let me tell you, man, you gonna wipe that out so fast. Man, come on. Ain't no telling what that documentary is about, but I guarantee you it ain't about nothing that got shit to do with shit.
Right.
And it was a documentary that Nipsey Hussle was doing before he got popped.
Right.
Who, if y'all didn't know, he's Hamite.
Right.
He's not Israel. Go ahead.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Most High.
Be what?
Be strong in the Most High.
What was he trying to tell Nick Cannon?
Be strong in the Most High.
Terry Crews?
Be strong in the Most High.
Will Smith?
Be strong in the Most High.
I'm saying these three names because these are the three most recent disgraces to black men that I can think of.
Right.
Tragedy.
Who? Deshaun Jackson. What's the other one? Stoudemire. What's
Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire. Yeah, Steven Jackson, but Monty Stoudemire is the one who actually got into it with our UPK brother, ain't he?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Charles. Oh man, look, Charles Barkley been a woman for years. He's been a woman for years. But Stoudemire actually got into it with our UPK brothers and saying he was doing hate speech. Right. Again, like we just read what the Most High said in Deuteronomy, so it ain't hate speech. It's just what the Most High wants. Go ahead, keep going.
And in the power of his might.
In the power of his might,
Put on the whole, verse 11, put on the whole armor of the Most High.
You can't put on the whole armor of the Most High if you're not in the UPK because you don't know the scriptures.
Right.
The only way you can put on the whole armor of the Most High is if you know these scriptures and then you know how to equip yourself.
That's right.
Like if you're a Christian, what they gonna tell you to do? You gotta love everybody. If you in the UPK, we're gonna tell you, hey, you can't go around your enemy like that. You can't take your family around your enemy like that and expect everything to be okay. You're gonna end up like the black girl who what was it, last week? She went with her white friend. It was 7 white friends of hers, and she ended up dead and beat. And don't nobody know how it happened, but she was at their house at the sleepover.
Right.
But she ended up dead and beat. Yeah, hang out with your enemy if you want to. Keep going.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Right.
Verse 12.
Against the against the who?
Wiles of the devil.
Who's the devil? The oppressor. The so-called white man or so-called Caucasian.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
We wrestle not with what?
Against flesh and blood.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood. And this is something that Nick Cannon learned the hard way. They didn't kill Nick Cannon. Did they? No, they didn't kill him. Go ahead.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
So Nick Cannon found out what? Start that part over. What did he find out he was wrestling against?
Against principalities.
Right.
Against powers.
Against
the rulers of the darkness of this world.
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world. He found out that the Jewish man who circumcised babies and then sucks the foreskin off with his lips and does that nasty stuff, that's who runs everything.
Right.
Those are the men you can't talk about. Go ahead.
But then they get mad when you say that they run everything and call you anti-Semitic.
Of course they get mad when you say they run everything. Because if they run everything and everything's, messed up, then who you got to blame?
Yeah.
You got to blame the chief Caucasian race, which
That's
is
right.
the so-called Jewish man. You got to blame Amalek. And if you blame them, then, what do they bring up? They always bring up this one thing when you try to blame them for something they did wrong. What do they bring up? Somebody raise your hand. Don't let the officer. Y'all know what the Jewish man brings up.
Come on,
it's the only thing they really known for. Go ahead.
The Holocaust.
You damn right. Give him a hand. The Holocaust. Now I'm a lying? What did they bring up? When Nick Cannon said all the things that white people had done to us, what did the Jewish man bring up? The Holocaust. Like, come on. Speaking of the Holocaust, they just found a 90-something-year-old Nazi this week, and he's on trial.
All the time.
He's on trial for, I think they said, accessory to murder for over 200 people from 1944 to 1945. Go ahead.
And he living?
He's living in a wheelchair. They rolling him in a wheelchair in court, and he got a COVID mask on.
He's not the first.
Good night.
I'm not lying. I saw that today, and I was like, this has got to be a joke. We got to forgive y'all, but y'all can't forgive them for something they did for 4 years. And it happened to us for over 400. But we got to forgive y'all.
We gotta forget about that.
Yeah, yes, that's how it is. That's how you know who run everything. You step on their shoe, you dead. You rape, rob, murder us for 400 years and take our children, mess us up, and then once we think we free, flood our community with drugs and guns. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that we know that gang culture means that you go against each other, so we shoot each other and kill each other, sell crack to each other. There's been a shooting in Charlotte almost every day for the past 2 months. Every time I turn on my Facebook page, somebody is shot in Charlotte. It's like, come on, man. But you can't say that, they put us in this environment and they made us like this. They just, y'all animals. Who made us the animals? We've been watching y'all kill each other for years. What was the Civil War about?
Right.
What was the Revolutionary War about?
Right.
That was oppressors killing oppressors. Caucasians killing Caucasians.
Right.
That's all that was. Go ahead.
World War I, World War II.
Exactly. All the world wars was about oppressors killing oppressors. They even had in the Civil War, they even had red and blue on them. Like, we got all that from our oppressor, man. Like, at some point, we got to get the picture. Go ahead.
Even before that, in slavery, they put us against each other, made us fight each other.
Yeah, the Mandingo fights. They've been making us kill each other. They had sellout slaves like Nick Cannon and Terry Crews go find. Imagine as athletic or whatever as Terry Crews is. He played in the NFL for a short stint, right?
Right.
And he was actually halfway decent. Imagine them getting him because he's a sellout, and you escape from your plantation, and then you got this big burly nigga running after you to get you back to the master.
Good night.
And he grab you, tie you up, drag you all the way. I got a master. And you like, nigga,
Man.
what are you doing?
Speaking in Hebrew.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, read that from the top.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
We don't wrestle with flesh and blood. Keep going.
but against principalities,
Right,
against powers,
right.
against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against spiritual wickedness. Y'all know what spiritual wickedness is? You do? What is it?
Damn right.
That is a perfect example. That's a perfect example of spiritual wickedness. Somebody give me another example of spiritual wickedness. Mm-hmm. Islam. That's another perfect example.
White devil, oppressors calling themselves Jews and they are not.
That is a huge spiritual wickedness. You know what another one is? Just to make it simple, smoking weed.
Right.
That's spiritual wickedness.
That's right.
Getting dreadlocks. That's spiritual wickedness. When you have the spirit of the Most High and the spirit of your people, you're not going to do other things that other nations do.
That's right.
Because when you do, then you're being wicked. You're being spiritually wicked. When you sleep with other nations, you're being spiritually wicked.
Right.
Why would you want another nation, woman? Why would you?
Yo.
Why would you be a woman and want a so-called white man?
Yo.
Like, go ahead.
So, Lakia, sir, for my followers on Facebook, can you please enlighten them that zodiac signs are also spiritual wickedness?
That is complete spiritual wickedness. If you, it says in the scriptures that does anybody know what the scripture says about the moon and the stars? What they're used for? Go ahead.
For times and seasons.
Exactly. Give them a hand. They're used for times and seasons. they are not used to figure out what your attitude is supposed to be.
That's right.
They not used to see what mood you gonna have. They not used to see why you didn't make any money last month.
Right.
You didn't make any money last month because your ass was sitting at home.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Like, imagine Christ, you get on the cross, well, you know I'm Leo, right?
Right.
Leo's knocking y'all heads, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine that. Like, come on, man. Like, no, I'm a Libra, so I gotta. This the month I'm supposed to die for everybody because the sun and the moon and the stars lined up in just the perfect way for me to no. Forget about it. Come on, man. Yeah, forget about it. Please, forget about it. And it's sad because it's mostly our sisters that suffer from that. And man, y'all gotta leave that alone.
Right.
If you really pay attention to it, and I found this out years ago, if you look at it and then look at another sign, every month they just change out, what sign is gonna act like what. Sometimes it's the same day, two signs acting the same, and it's like, well, I thought, the signs are different, but for some reason the Leo was acting like the Scorpio, and the Scorpio has a bad attitude, but I thought the Leo had the bad attitude.
Right.
The Sagittarius said that they was the bad attitude, having, sisters, and you couldn't handle them, but for some reason the Libras said that they got the bad attitude, and so who got the bad attitude? So everybody just got a bad attitude. Go ahead.
Maybe you just a bitch.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. What it comes down to is that what happens with a lot of sisters is that, especially in this kingdom, is that they get a lot of ways to find excuses to act like a bitch.
That's right.
They find a lot of. Did y'all see the video of the sister putting the gasoline in the man's Jeep? And she filled it up with gasoline, the inside while the window, because his windows was down, it's hot outside. He had a black Jeep. So he had his windows down. She pulls up with a face mask on, starts pouring gasoline in the windows. You know what's about to happen. And then she what did the Jewish man bring up? The Holocaust. Like, come on. Speaking
That's right.
getting dreadlocks, that's spiritual wickedness. When you had a spirit of the Most High and the spirit of your people, you're not going to do other things that other nations do.
That's right.
Because when you do, then you're being wicked. You're being spiritually wicked. When you sleep with other nations, you're being spiritually wicked.
Right.
Why would you want another nation, woman? Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you be a woman and want a so-called white man?
Ew.
Like, go ahead.
So, Lakia, sir, for my followers on Facebook, can you please enlighten them that zodiac signs are also spiritual wickedness?
That is complete spiritual wickedness. If you, it says in the scriptures that does anybody know what the scripture says about the moon and the stars? What they're used for? Go ahead.
For times and seasons.
Exactly. Give them a hand. They're used for times and seasons. They are not used to figure out what your attitude is supposed to be.
That's right.
They're not used to see what mood you gonna have. They're not used to see why you didn't make any money last month.
Right.
You didn't make any money last month because your ass was sitting at home.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Like, imagine Christ, you get on the cross, well, you know I'm Leo, right?
Right.
Leo's knocking y'all heads, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine that. Like, come on, man. Like, no, I'm a Libra, so I gotta. This the month I'm supposed to die for everybody because the sun and the moon and the stars lined up in just the perfect way for me to no.
Forget about it.
Come on, man. Yeah, forget about it. Please, Forget about it. And it's sad because it's mostly our sisters that suffer from that. And man, y'all gotta leave that alone.
Right.
If you really pay attention to it, and I found this out years ago. If you look at it and then look at another sign, you know, every month they just change out, you know, what sign is gonna act like what. You know, sometimes it's the same day, two signs acting the same, and it's like, well, I thought, you know, the signs are different, but for some reason the Leo was acting like the Scorpio, and the Scorpio has a bad attitude, but I thought the Leo had the bad attitude.
Right.
The Sagittarius said that they was the bad attitude, having, you know, sisters, and you couldn't handle them, but for some reason the Libras said that they got the bad attitude, and so who got the bad attitude? So everybody just got a bad attitude. Go ahead.
Maybe you just a bitch.
Yeah, but that's what it comes down to. What it comes down to is that what happens with a lot of sisters is that, especially in this kingdom, is that they get a lot of ways to find excuses to act like a bitch.
That's right.
They find a lot of. Did y'all see the video of the sister putting the gasoline in the man in
Right.
the man's Jeep? And she filled it up with gasoline, the inside while the window, because his windows was down, it's hot outside. He had a black Jeep. So he had his windows down. She pulls up with a face mask on, starts pouring gasoline in the windows. You know what's about to happen. And then she gets a lighter, sets the inside on fire, and of course, because the windows are open, the fire shoots outside, and she flies up against the other car, flies on the
Judgment. Swift judgment.
Right. And then I saw today that she got arrested. Today she got arrested. She's in jail. Like, since, and you know what she was mad at him about. Blow my mind. What was she mad at him about? Raise your hand. Blow my mind. Go ahead.
Another woman.
He had more than one wife.
Good night.
Sister, if that's your problem, just like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. It's worth blowing your eyebrows off.
Good night.
You know, the little mustache hair that you had that you don't want nobody to see. It's worth blowing all that off. The brother ain't done nothing to you, and you gonna try to blow his car up and you blew up. That's a damn shame, man. Give me the book of James. This is also for Nick Cannon. Give me the book of James chapter 4, and we're gonna start at verse 7. And if you're upset about something, seek counsel.
That's right.
We got counsel in UPK. I've gotten counsel plenty of times. The counsel works. The counsel saved my marriage on more than one occasion. Get counsel.
That's right.
Ain't nothing wrong with counsel. If you're a strong man, you'll get counsel. If you're a strong sister, you'll get counsel.
Right.
You got that for me?
Come.
Go ahead.
This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 7. Akim and Aquas got it?
God.
Submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High.
Do what?
Submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High.
You ever heard of a weak man submitting himself to a greater cause?
Oh,
I'm about to say, I ain't never heard of a weak man submitting himself to a greater cause. You know what I'm saying? I've heard of some strong men committing themselves to a cause they thought was greater than them. So if the Most High is telling you to do something, submit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Do it like Nehemiah. Be so zealous for that truth that you almost want to beat somebody's ass.
Right.
Don't do it. But, have that same zealous feeling. Go ahead.
Resist the devil. And
Do
he
what?
will
Whoa,
flee.
do what?
Resist the devil.
Resist who?
The devil.
Who's the devil?
Like,
You damn right.
Bruh.
Did you say it loud?
man.
You damn right.
Damn
Give him a
right.
hand. Don't be scared to say that. Out of all things, don't be scared to say that. Good night. Keep going.
And he will flee from you.
And he will do what?
Flee from you.
This is something Nick Cannon didn't learn.
Good night.
If he would have resisted the white man, he would flee from him. Have you heard? Let me ask you a question. Out of all, because they was messing with Colin Kaepernick for a minute.
Right.
And all he did was take a knee. He didn't say nothing about the Jews. When's the last time you heard something about Colin Kaepernick? He's still doing the same shit. He still ain't playing in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? He's still walking around with braids.
Right.
He's still doing his blackity black thing, and really not paying white folk no attention. You know what white folk ended up doing? Go ahead.
Signing him to a Disney deal?
They gave him money. And then they left him alone.
Wait.
They gave him money and left him alone. Go ahead.
Look, I got a precept
Uh-huh.
for Nick Cannon.
Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28 and 29.
Uh-huh.
For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?
Mm-hmm.
Lest haply, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him.
All that behold it begin to do what?
Mock him.
To do what?
Mock him.
To mock him. Y'all get that right.
Right.
Now go back to what we was reading.
The book of James, chapter 4, verse 7.
Then watch how that tie. Go ahead. No,
Submit.
matter of fact, go to verse 8.
Verse 8. Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners.
Cleanse your hands, ye what?
Ye sinners.
Okay, keep going.
And purify your hearts.
And purify your hearts. Keep
Ye,
going.
ye double-minded.
Now, what's your heart?
Your
It's
mind.
right in front of. Oh, raise your hand.
Right.
It's right. It's right in the verse. What's your heart? Not you. Go ahead, young man. Go ahead.
Your heart is your mind,
You
son.
damn right.
Right.
Did it just say it in the verse?
Right.
It said,
Okay.
read that verse again.
Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you.
Right.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners.
Right.
Purify your hearts, ye double-minded.
You what?
Double-minded.
So cleanse your heart, you double-minded. He's telling you right there, your heart is your mind.
That's right.
Do you think with your heart or you think with your mind? So do you need to cleanse your heart or you need to cleanse your mind?
Your mind.
So if you're going to be double-minded, what you using? Your brain, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's telling you, like, when the Bible says your heart, it's talking about your mind.
Right.
Right.
Anytime you, I just feel it in my heart. No, it's something you thinking, dummy. That's how you thinking. Go ahead.
That's why people say, "Oh, I remember your number by heart."
Exactly.
Right.
Do you remember a number in your heart?
No,
you don't. So you see how simple that is? Like it even told you in the verse. And the reason that this is another cut to Nick Cannon is you see how double-minded he was?
God.
How he was blackety black one minute and then he was wiggity white the next. Man, I ain't seen nobody flip flop and listen 24 hours. Wow.
Right.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Like, come on, man. Good. I mean, he was talking when Griff was there, and he took the Griff interview down, by the way, and put the white Jewish man's interview up. Yeah, he took that down. Don't look surprised, young man. You know he won't keep that up. Go ahead.
Lock it. When Griff was on the show, I mean, his aggression towards another brother, well, you know that Adam plus the Adam equals Eve, and Eve know how to in between. But when the Edomite come on there, he was, may I, sir?
Right.
You know, it just shows.
On his knees the whole time.
On his knees.
Uh-huh.
And it just goes to show he's a weak brother.
He
can't lead us.
Weak is all get off, man. Well, when Griff was on there, you know what I'm saying? Did y'all see the interview, like the clips of the interview when Griff was on there?
Kind out of one kind.
Like the rah that he was just spewing out. I said, man, Nick done changed from Nickelodeon. When he was on Nickelodeon, yeah, please see me. What? I said he done changed. He done grew into a man. You know, he been trying for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? He done gone to school and he started wrapping his hair. And, you know, he's wrapping his hair like a woman. He started wrapping his hair and he started, you know, studying this and blackety black this, blackety black that, black power, blah blah blah. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. He gotta take them fists down. He gotta take them fists in the background down. Like, bro, whose fist is them? Is there a reason that the outline of the fist is white? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, it's a little suspicious. But it's like, come on, man. Like, because he was talking big he was, man, he had, you know what I'm saying, he had big cojones when Professor Griff was there.
He was.
You know what I'm saying, the 6 protons and the 6 electrons and the 6 protons, hey, that's where the 666 come from. That's the black man's body. Alright, nigga. It took one Jewish man's tweet and the loss of one job for him to say, whoa, this ain't the life, I ain't about this life. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
He went from trying to be a Black Lives Matter leader to a LGBT community leader.
Right, which is what Black Lives Matter is anyway. You know, if y'all didn't know, the leader of the Black Lives Matter is 3 LGBT black women.
Right.
And if you go on their website, it don't say his story, it says her story.
Right.
Y'all didn't know that, did you? When you go on the website, you'll find out a lot. Yeah, they don't like you, black man. Yeah, but moving on. Yeah. So, but anyway, but it boggles my mind the way celebrities backtrack on things for money. Right. And that's why it's a perfect precept for when Christ said, you know, it's harder for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Everybody knows that precept. Right? That's you damn right. It's in Matthew. And that's, I mean, you see that so often. It's almost what's the word? Expected. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's expected. Like there's no other way to put it around. Like you expect a celebrity to backpedal if they ever come out with something that is supporting black people.
Right.
What you about to say?
So, I was gonna say Nick Cannon with the backpedaling. He went from being rah-rah with Professor Griff to apologizing for the information that he misled with Richard Griffin.
Now, here's the thing that pissed me off about one of the things that he said in his tweets that he was putting out, where because he apologized like 3 times. The first apology, he just apologized for hurting the Jewish community. The second apology, he apologized for what he said and hurting the Jewish community. Then the third apology, he was like, everything I said was a lie. You know what I'm saying? I learned from, what did he call them? It was a certain name that he called the black scholars. It was a certain name that he called black scholars. It wasn't ignorant, but it was nigh to ignorant. He called it wasn't though. Those are way too soft. It pissed me off because at the end of the day, One West is what brought out that blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians are the true Jews.
Right.
That's right.
So who was he talking about when you called them ignorant? You talking about the leaders of our school.
Right.
You talking about our leaders, you talking about Commander Junior High.
Right.
So to say that you learned from some ignorant people, some stuff that you feel like it wasn't true and you gonna study more and study, better and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, I can't rock with you at all. Like at this point, you're on their side. So if you're on their side and you're not with us, what's that make you? Go ahead.
And if he truly studied, he would find out that there was no need for him to apologize.
I mean, of course. There was no need for him to apologize, but now that he did apologize, and you see how he acted towards him, so he's clearly on their side, what does that make him to us? What did Christ say he had? It's a word. We read it earlier. Go ahead.
The enemy.
You damn right.
Right.
Hand. Make him an enemy.
Damn right.
And it's like General Muhammad said, hey, if that's what you want to believe, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to know at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to have to war with us.
That's right.
And that's the old way, right?
That's right.
Like we about to read. I got a verse for King David right here. We about to read about what type of a man because we got so many bad examples right now. We got to read some good examples of what the man of the Lord was like. David was a man after what? Go ahead.
The Most High's own heart.
He was a man after the Most High's own heart.
That's right.
He was just like the Most High, especially when it came to war.
Right.
David was the most humble killer in the Bible, and he killed probably the most people of any single man out of the Bible that was recorded. Like, good night. Like, the man was a killer. And at the same time, he was so humble when it came to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, go ahead and get me 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 24. 1 Samuel 17, verse 24. And we're going to read what a man of the Lord is like. And again, David was a prophet, just like Nehemiah was a prophet. You know what I'm saying? We read how Job was talking about breaking the wicked's jaw.
Right.
So let's see how David was. You got it?
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 24.
Give me time to get it to you.
Oh, I got it.
Come.
Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. Verse 25.
This 1 Samuel?
Oh my God. I'll say so.
17:24. 1 Samuel 17:24. Take your time. They need, trust me, this needs to come out.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17.
And Salaki, if I could, this is every man in the UPK, and this is how every man who feels like they're a man of the Lord should act.
Damn
So
right.
if you don't act like this, you need to get in class immediately.
Right.
Go ahead.
And all the men of Yashar'allah, when they saw the man, fled from him.
They talking about Goliath. Keep going.
And were sore afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25. The men of Yashar'allah said, have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Yashar'allah is he come up.
So they talking about Goliath. Of course, we all know Goliath was a giant.
Right.
He came up, of course, he was trying to, he been calling Israel. They said he called Israel for 40 days. Imagine that. Go ahead.
He also was a stinking African.
He damn right he was a stinking African. He was a Philistine. He was a disgusting, stinking African, as tall as the ceiling, and he was calling Israel for 40 days. They were fighting the Philistines, and at some point in the day, Goliath would come out, and Israel would run. And they fight him again, then Goliath would come out, and Israel would run, and he would be talking shit. He'd be talking smack to him. Like, come on, go ahead.
To make it easier for the simpletons, like it's like seeing Matumbo or
Right.
somebody like that, you know?
Right. No. It's like seeing him. You be like, dang, that nigga dog, I'm gonna beat him. And y'all don't nobody want to fight him for 40 days straight. Y'all fighting all the other ones, but as soon as he come out, y'all like, hey, man, what we gonna do against that? You know what I'm saying? Don't be soft, man. You can't be soft in this truth. Go
That's
ahead.
right.
Keep going.
And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches.
The king gonna do what?
Enrich him with great riches.
And so there's a, pretty much now there's a bounty out for Goliath. The king's saying, hey, if you kill him, you gonna get riches. I think one of the wars is you gonna get one of my daughters. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get all kinds of shit. You get to marry the king's daughter, and you get riches. So you ain't just marrying the king's daughter and then you dependent on daddy. No, you get to marry the king's daughter and he gonna give y'all's own. Hey, I don't know. I might have to take my chances out there. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? We in different times now. Israel had their own kingdom and everything. We ain't got our own kingdom right now. I might have to, go ahead and go out there and risk my life. But go ahead.
And will give him his daughter.
Yep, there you go. Keep going.
And make his father's house free in Israel.
How about that?
Good night.
Make his father's house free in Israel. Keep going.
Verse 26.
Now y'all pay attention to what's about to start being said. Go ahead.
And David spake to the men that stood by him.
This is David speaking. So David's about to tell you how But remember, this is a man after God's own heart. So while everybody else is running, this is little David. This is young teenage David. You know what I'm saying? He was so small he couldn't fit the armor that they tried to give him to go out there. He had to take it back off. Young man, David, with the zeal of 1,000 men. Come on now, go ahead.
Saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine?
He said, hey, what's my reward gonna be if I kill him? Go ahead.
And taketh away the reproach from Israel.
Take away the what?
The reproach from Yasha'Allah.
The what?
The reproach from Yasha'Allah.
Somebody look at the word reproach. Let's take some time with this real quick. Go ahead.
And Salakia, David said that as a derogatory term. He was like, "Who, if I kill this Philistine,
Yeah.
like, you know, like who the hell is he?"
Exactly.
It was
you know how we
on that.
you know we got I ain't gonna say it on camera. You know we got the derogatory name for other nations. You know what I'm saying? Like who gonna kill this nasty mother? You know what I'm saying? and I'll show you called him nasty in just a second. Somebody got reproach?
Come on.
Go ahead.
This is the definition of reproach. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
Say that again.
Reproach. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
So he said, who's going to take this disappointment and disapproval away from Israel? Who's we disappointing and disapproving of? Come on. Who did we disappoint and show disapproval to when we didn't kill Goliath when he first opened his goddamn stinking mouth? Go ahead. Yeah.
The Most High.
You damn right. Give him a hand. The Most High. The first time that he spoke up against the Most High and his people, like we at war with him. We killing everybody right now. But every time he comes out, he talking junk, and because he's tall, y'all run. Right. Like really? Come on, man. Really? Like we all know somebody tall. We know the taller you get, for some reason, like he's not LeBron James. Like he's not that type of tall. He's like 9 foot tall. So we know he probably had bad knees.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was a look, and they were scared about looking at him because he was tall. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I don't see no record of him killing nobody. Any record of Goliath actually doing anything? All right, keep going. I'm just saying, there's no record. Go ahead.
For who is this uncircumcised?
This what?
This uncircumcised.
This what?
Uncircumcised.
That's derogatory. If y'all don't know what uncircumcised is, that means you're dirty down there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You collect a lot of stuff, dirt and stuff you ain't supposed to collect on the male private part because you ain't been circumcised. That's why us as Israel, who has a cleanly law,
right? Like
everything clean came from us.
That's right.
So we made up circumcision because you're cleaner when you get circumcised. Right. That came from the Most High, straight from the Most High. So he's uncircumcised. So basically, he calling him a dirty bitch.
Right.
Like, how? Who is this dirty mother? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who's sitting there talking junk about us, about the Most High, and he gets to live? And you said I get what'd you say that reward was? And you said I get one of the king's daughters, and we get our own money. Sound like a deal to me.
Right.
I think the Most High might be on my side.
Yeah, I'm right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Right.
That he should defy the armies of the living power.
So you're gonna defy the armies of the Lord, of the Most High. You're gonna of the living God, the one true living God. You're gonna defy the armies of Him. Yeah, let me go ahead and take this reproach away from Israel. This is David as a child. This is David as a young teenager. Imagine where you was when you was your mind state when you was like 14, 15, 16 years old. You know, you hot blooded. You want to fight everybody, but at the same time, you're not a grown man. You know, you ain't got that grown man strength yet. You ain't got that grip strength yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you got all the zeal and the hot-headedness in the world. David is in this point, but he's doing it in a righteous way.
That's right.
And why is he doing it in a righteous way? Because he was already trained for that. The Most High had already put him through training. The Most High had him in the pastures watching the sheep. He was killing lions and bears already. That's recorded. Keep going.
Verse 27. And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. Verse 28. And Eliab, his eldest brother.
Hold on. So just so you understand, in verse 27, they told him what was going to happen if he killed Goliath.
Right.
So he got the gist of it and was like, oh, all right, okay.
Don't sweat.
Yeah, hey. You said I get like in today's term, you said I get a brand new car and how much money? And I get the woman of my dream. Okay. And all I gotta do is kill this dirty mother. All right. Well, hey, you know, we already at war with him. Keep going.
Verse 28. And Eliab, his brother, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. Mm-hmm. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David.
So his big brother got mad at David for being a man. That don't sound like the Christian church?
Right.
That don't sound like Terry Crews. Black Lives Matter. Can't turn into Black Lives Are Better.
Oh, man.
Don't that sound like them?
Right.
Come on, man. Like the scriptures live like to this day.
That's right.
Niggas ain't changed. Niggas ain't changed. Go ahead. What the hell is slaggy? What you gonna say, some officer?
You took it right out. You said what I was about to say.
All right, go ahead.
And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness?
You see how much of a bitch his big brother was?
Right.
He said, why you even come down here? Because David was showing him out. You got your little brother coming saying, I'll fight him. And you like, man, why are you even over here? Ain't you supposed to be watching the sheep? That was David's big brothers. David wasn't like his big brothers. David was like the Most High. Remember what it said in Exodus 15:3? What did it say? What's the Most High's personality? Go ahead.
Lord is a man of war.
He's a man of war. Give him a hand. He's a man of war. So if he's a man of war, how are we supposed to be? Man of war.
That's right.
How was David?
The man of war.
Oh man, he had so much blood on his hands he couldn't even build the temple.
Right.
He had to have his son do it. That's in the scriptures. But he had so much. Imagine the Most High loving you so much, and he was just like, man, I love you, but David, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. You can't build a temple. You done killed too many. You done slain too much. But I'm gonna have your son do it. Your son's gonna build it, and it's gonna be glorious.
That's right.
You just can't do it, man. Like you know what I'm saying. You don't shed too much blood. But he was a man after Most High's own heart. He did. David did his thing, man. That's why David is, even outside of Israelite culture, David is one of the greatest kings that ever lived in history. Go ahead, officer.
Just like we said in the UPK, David was no coward.
He was no coward at all.
Right.
Man. If it's, you know what I'm saying, Yahushua, and this is for me personally, it's Yahushua, and then right after him, David. When it comes to not being a coward, what man you know can die for a whole nation of people, for his people? No one is coming, and he did it anyway. He didn't go run and hide or none of that. He died. He got whipped. He got beat. It said that they tore Yahushua's beard out. They tore. Imagine somebody grabbing his beard and tearing a piece of it out off of the skin. Go ahead.
What white man ever died for black people?
Not one. Go ahead.
So like and the misconception of the Christian church, the lies of the Christian church, is that the mind or the heart or the mind of the Most High is of love and peace.
Right. And the thing about it is, it's so far from peace, it's ridiculous. Like even when you read Revelations, like who knows the precept for what's the faith of the saints? I just gave it to you. Find it for me. We're gonna read it. Find it. If you know the precept, find it. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. But all I'm saying is, if you a man in this truth, be a man of war and be a man like David.
That's right.
Be a man like Christ.
Right.
Right.
Like Christ said, bring before me and slay him. He wanted to see it. Oh, they defy me? Okay, I'm the king. Bring before me and slay him. Oh, you found it? That's fast trooper. Go ahead. Let me see.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity
Right.
shall go into captivity.
Right. Well, we are led, and we know who was led into captivity, and we know who went into captivity. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword
Right.
must be killed with the sword.
He must be what?
Killed with the
He
sword.
must be what?
Killed with the sword.
So when you shooting up people, you must be what?
Killed with the sword.
So when you going and bombing other countries, you must be what?
Killed with the sword.
Keep going.
Here is the patience.
The what?
The patience.
The what?
The patience.
And the what?
And the faith.
And the what?
And the faith
Wow. So this is the patience and the faith
of the saints.
of the saints
Right.
of Israel.
Right.
This is what we supposed to be waiting on according to the scriptures.
That's right.
We supposed to be waiting on the people who did all this to us. We waiting on it to happen to them.
Damn right.
Go ahead.
It's a lot. It's a waiting on and working for.
And working for it.
Damn right.
Oh, you damn sure we're working for it. That's why we're here in class.
Right.
I mean, if we wasn't working for it, that's why we got 2 troopers, 2 young men, and 2 officers and a sister sitting right here in class in Charlotte that we just opened up this class in what was it, September?
Right.
September of 2019, and we already got this. And there's a couple of sisters that's not here.
Right.
Right.
There's an officer who's not here.
Right.
Right.
We're working for this.
Damn right.
We're working for the kingdom of heaven.
Damn right.
Get yourselves in here. Like y'all trying to get this kingdom of heaven on earth. Like we're trying to get it to where black and Hispanics rule. We're not trying to get it to where, you know what I'm saying, we trying to love everybody. Bump all that. We've been trying that for years.
Right.
No, it's time for us to rule, and we'll tell you how the earth is supposed to be run.
Damn right.
Damn it. Go ahead.
We ain't want equality.
You damn right.
Damn equality.
That's
We want
right.
rulership.
That's
Yeah,
right.
equality is, man, that's out. That's out. We tried to fight for that. Y'all won't even give it to us because y'all don't want equality.
Right.
So what we gonna do? We gonna be the rulers.
Right.
Like the scripture said, like we supposed to be above all people on the face of the what?
Earth.
On the face of the earth.
It's a scripture. I don't know where it's at, but don't it say the saints will take the kingdom?
You damn right. There is a scripture that says the saints will take the kingdom. It also says that Edom is going the Lord is gonna use Judah to punish Edom. Yeah. If we have a little bit of time after we get through with this, we're gonna get into it. I'll bring it out right now. That's why I got this book right here. That's why I got my precept book. But if you could drop that, give me Romans chapter 9, verse 4. You know what I'm getting at with this. This is gonna wrap everything pretty much that I've been saying into it. So we know that King David was a man of war. We know Nehemiah was a man of war. Job was a man of war. Christ was a man of war.
Right.
So let's see if Paul loved everybody, because Christians love to use Paul. And then when I say loved, I mean they love to use Paul. And it's so like it's disrespectful, obviously, to us, but it's so sickening to know that they think that like Paul justifies Christianity when Paul actually did the opposite.
Right.
Like he justified only Israel being saved, and he said it in so many words, in so many different places. It's like it's not even funny.
Right.
You got that for me? Go ahead and start that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
All Akim and Aquas got it?
Come on.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Israelites.
Who are what?
Israelites.
Keep going.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
So okay. So Christians say what? Everybody's adopted into the kingdom. This is saying that who's adopted into the kingdom?
Israelites.
Israelites. Keep going.
and the glory,
and the glory,
and the covenants,
and the covenants,
and the giving of the law,
and the giving of the law.
Good night.
and the service.
I mean, are you gonna name out everything that's in the Bible? I mean, so okay, so keep going.
And the service
So
of the
there's
Most High.
whoa. So there's more. The servants of the most. So the service of the Most High. So you mean to tell me that all these Edomite pastors is lying, talking about they hear from the Lord?
Right.
Go ahead.
The service of the Most High, that they can't even be priests.
Can't even.
But the service of the Most High is being priests.
They can't do a damn thing.
They can't do nothing.
A damn thing. All they can do is serve us.
Right.
That's all they can do. Go ahead.
Psalm 147, verse 19 and 20.
My man. If y'all know, I drilled that into him for about 4 weeks straight. and he ain't gonna never forget it. I guarantee you he's not. We're gonna bring it out next. We keep going.
And the promises.
And the promises. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Whose are the fathers?
Who's all the who?
The fathers.
The who?
The fathers.
We all know who the Father is. Keep going.
And of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Christ as who concerning the what?
The flesh.
The what?
The flesh.
What did it say at the very beginning of verse 4?
Who are Israelites.
So that's who the flesh is. That's the flesh he's talking about.
Right.
Now, if y'all didn't know, Paul is from the tribe of Benjamin.
Right.
So he was an Israelite.
Right.
So the flesh he's talking about is Israelites.
Right.
The phrase he's talking about Christ came for is Israelites.
Right.
Now, do we need to go any further on who everything is supposed to be made for? Who's going to be ruling at the end?
Right.
Did y'all, if y'all didn't know, here's my question to Christians. My question. If you, when you get taught in the Christian church, how many gates are there in heaven? Does anybody in here know? I feel like you know. I don't want to call on you, trooper. I'm sorry. Young man, Mike, go ahead.
12 gates, sir.
That's
Okay, give him a hand.
damn right.
It's 12 gates. So if there's 12 gates, what's the names on? Because you know those 12 gates got names.
Right.
It's in the same verse. What is those 12 gates got the names of? Go ahead, young man.
That would be the 12 tribes of Israel, sir.
That's
Give him a hand
right.
again.
That's right.
The 12 tribes of Israel. So, again, if there's 12 gates to the kingdom of heaven in Revelations, which is supposed to be, the end time, and if the 12 names on those gates are 12 tribes of Israel, who's getting into heaven? Go ahead, True.
Oh, Salaki, only Israel.
Only Israel.
Right.
Give him a hand. Okay, so read the beginning of verse 4 again.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Israelites.
So that is the same as Revelations. Keep going.
To whom pertaineth the adoption
okay, keep going.
and the glory
Yeah, okay,
and the covenants
okay.
and the giving of the law.
Hold that. Go ahead, officer.
And I don't want to skip over that adoption because that adoption is Christ dying.
You
Christ
damn right.
died for somebody.
That's pivotal. Give him a hand. That's so important. That's so important because, of course, y'all know we lost everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Most High threw us away.
Right.
But he said he was going to take us back.
Right.
But we had, you know what I'm saying? It had to be some things that happened first. Christ had to come. He had to die. He had to be perfect. Then we had to make a new covenant with the Most High.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Christ solidified. Now, it's telling you right there in Romans, in the New Testament, that was all for Israel. It wasn't for nobody else. So is there a such thing as black supremacy? You goddamn right. It's black supremacy. It's right here in the scripture. It's not for nobody else. Keep going. Go ahead.
So like that's what the Christian church get, the grafted in part. That's grafted in the adoption. Is that? That's what they misuse.
That it is. It's not that verse, but it is. But does anybody know what grafted means? Like from a farmer standpoint. Go ahead.
Come.
Yeah, to take one part and pretty much place it, doctor it into the original part.
It's close, but I need something more specific.
It's like you take a branch or something off of the same type of plant?
That's what I'm looking for.
Right.
It has to be the same plant.
That's right.
For you to graft, for you to physically graft something, not even in a scriptural way. In just in farmers' terms, it has to be the same plant. You can't graft an apple tree in an apple branch into an orange tree.
Right.
It doesn't work. You have to graft an orange tree into an orange branch into an orange tree.
That's right.
You have to graft an olive branch, which is what the scriptures always use,
Right.
into an olive tree. You can't graft an Edomite into an Israelite.
Right.
It's not possible. You can't do it. Go ahead.
So like I was asking, is the grafting also another word for like the adoption?
Oh, yes and no. I'll get into that in a little bit. But the reason they use the word graft is because the lost sheep of Israel.
Oh, okay.
It was more of like, it's along that lines, but it's more like, okay, so now that we know that all of Israel can come back, now we just have to get them back into this culture. They have to learn the culture again. Think of Cornelius, being in an Italian band.
Right.
But he was a nigga.
Right.
Living in Italy and being in the army. Like I used to be in Esau's army. You know what I'm saying? I was a proud American trying to get Americans to accept niggas.
Right.
And it's not going to happen. I learned that the hard way.
Right.
It's not going to happen. America don't give a damn about niggas. Go ahead, officer.
Another way that grafted in, to put it in perspective and make it simpler, the Northern Kingdom right now, like say so-called Mexican,
Right.
they have no clue that the Northern King tribe, one of the northern tribes, one of the tribes of the Northern Kingdom, and they can be grafted back in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like the prodigal son. So
Right.
to make that simpler.
And to piggyback off of what he's saying, once they find out and they come into the UPK, what do? What's the topic we talking about? Go ahead. We gather ourselves together. That's one way to put it. Give them a hand. So what's the word I'm looking for that we talking about? What do we do in the UPK? Because it's a process. You can't just grab a branch and stick it up on grab an apple branch, stick it on an apple tree, and it's going to magically conform into it. What do? Y'all thinking too hard. I promise you thinking too hard. Like I've been saying the word for 5 minutes. Come on now. You asked the question. And you looked the most lost.
Adopt them?
No.
I'm glad you said it.
Come on now. You said what was the question you asked?
Graft them in?
Okay. So what's the word I'm looking for? There you go. Give him a hand. Y'all know it's a process, right?
Right.
Like you have to grab something in, like you literally have to like tie it to it. And then after a while it forms into that like that apple branch that you took from something else forms into that apple tree.
Right.
And it starts to exactly. It starts, so when those Hispanics and Native Americans start to come into the UPK, or those niggas who didn't know that they was Israel start to come into the UPK, what do they start doing? They start grafting right back into the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? That's all we do. We doing exactly what the scripture says to do. Go ahead.
So like your time check, 8:52.
Is it?
Come.
I got 8 minutes. Okay, so with that being said, we just trying to graft our brothers and sisters in.
That's right.
So they won't be like Nick Cannon and Terry Crews. So they won't be like Will Smith. And you know when your woman sleeps with a August, how do you say his last name?
Entanglement.
That's close. Well, what's his last name? Alcina. August Alcina. When your woman sleeps with August Alcina, you know that you need to go ahead and let her go.
Right.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Yeah, she done slept with him. Me personally, if she sleep with him, go ahead and give it to him. Let that be his headache. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that is not the right woman for him,
Right.
or for you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Like it, according to the scriptures, she is anyway, because sex is marriage.
Sex is marriage.
They gonna be put to death, but she is.
Yeah, that's his now. Go ahead.
It's like it. And the UBK, we not only teach you not to be weak like Will Smith, but we teach you not to be dirty like August Alsina. And
Right.
Exactly. Give him a hand.
Damn right.
You know how weak it is for a man to come on to another man's woman? That's disgusting. Like, come on, man. Like, that's his woman. He sleeps with her every night. They in the bed every night, cuddling. Y'all know how you do with your wives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every time your wife is with you in the bed, if you're not, y'all can front all you want. If you're not cuddling, you're having sex. If you're not having sex, you know what I'm saying? You might have a little bit, you know, your side of the bed, your side of the bed. At some point, somebody's gonna cross over. For some reason, women like just throwing their leg on top of you. You know what I'm saying? They knock the covers off of you, then they throw their leg on top of you. And you know what I'm saying? And you grab a leg, you go back to sleep, and then I'm saying this because I got a rib. You know what I'm saying? So I know how it goes. Now imagine her going and sleeping with somebody else, and then coming home and doing all that. So that man thinks, and you know how men think. Yeah, she going home to him, but she mine. You know how men think. Come on now. Go ahead, officer.
It's also gay.
It's very gay.
Very.
Right.
Y'all don't think it's gay because it's a man sleeping on her. No, but
It's gay.
he was just in her last night. Now you're in her today. So
It's semen on your bra.
it's
You wanna put on my old condom
it's
too?
nasty. It's very nasty. Imagine, I ain't even about to say what I'm about to say, but just imagine you doing a lot and you didn't know that there was something in there just the night before.
Dead body.
It's damn dead. That's scary. Shit, that's scary. I'm sorry if you don't think that's scary. Lord be with you. But that's scary. Ooh.
It's a lot, sir.
Go ahead.
I know you wrote a song about it too.
He did write a song with Ross,
No, called
Entanglement, where he explained all his sexual endeavors with Jada.
Right.
And if you haven't heard it, I advise you not to listen to it.
Right.
Go ahead.
If you look up the word entanglement, it's a synonym. It's one of the synonyms for adultery.
Yeah, it means adultery.
Wow.
So Jada is so smart and conniving. Because Will's dumb. If y'all ain't know, Will Smith has always been dumb.
Dumb and weak.
He's always been weak, and he's always been what's the word I'm looking for? A goody two shoes. That's why he makes songs like Summertime and what's the other song he made? Getting Jiggy with it and Men in Black, and he's dancing, and he's never been like a hardcore type guy, even though he's from Philly.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Parents just don't understand.
Right.
He's always been that type of guy. Go ahead.
He's happy.
The happy. They call him the happy rapper. They call him the happy rapper. And when you're the happy rapper, and she used to be with Tupac, you know, that's kind of what happens. Like it's kind of like, ooh. You know, I used to be with this black revolutionist. Because, you know, Tupac was rapping about black revolution when he was 17.
Right.
On stage. You know what I'm saying? The concerts that didn't sell nothing. And he was rapping about, you know, the Black Panther power. You know, his mama and his daddy was in the Black Panthers. His stepdaddy was in the Black Panthers. All of them died for the cause and all that blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then she gets with Will Smith. A match made in hell.
Good night.
Man, come on, man. That's I want to say I feel sorry for the brother, but all the signs was there.
Right.
All the signs was there, and that's what happened when you don't have leadership as a man. You pick the wrong women for you.
That's right.
You picked the wrong. That wasn't the woman that he needed, and she wasn't the man that she needed. Will would never say anything to correct her, and you could tell from the entanglement interview. She was saying anything she wanted to. The only thing he corrected her on was when she said it was a relationship, And he was like, well, no, when she said it was an entanglement, and he said, no, it was a relationship. And she, oh yeah, well, okay, it was a relationship. And then she went on and she blamed him for doing stuff in the past and did this and did that. And then he joked around with, I'm gonna get you paid. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty hard to watch.
Right.
Once again, it's hard to watch black men being weak in this country. It's becoming a trend. Well, it's been a trend, but it's these days seeing black men in a dress, you know what I'm saying, not as leaders, as weak, homosexual, what's another word? I mean, there's so many words. You go ahead, officer. I know you got some.
If you don't repent, Christ gonna come and cut your goddamn head off.
At the end of the day, they're gonna bring you before Christ, and he's going to have you slain in front of him, and he's gonna watch it. It's like, come on, man, you killing our nation with that. So like, okay, with the Jada Pinkett and white couple, do you know that happened to? Think hard and think long. You can't think of nothing? How about you, sis? No? Brothers? Young men, troopers? No? Yeah, because you're not going to.
Right.
You're not going to find that
Right.
in white culture. They're either going to keep their mouth shut or she's dead.
Right.
They're going to keep their mouth shut or she's not going to have a livelihood after it's all said and done.
God.
That's how we call black men, though. Yeah, that should put that in perspective for
That
you.
just hurt.
Yeah, and it should. It should hurt. Go ahead.
That's how the feminist movement started.
Exactly.
White women who wanted control, and that white men wouldn't let them have control.
Wouldn't let them have it.
So they joined the black people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, like the black civil rights movement.
Yep.
And they, just rode the coattail of our suffering
Mm-hmm.
and capitalized off of it.
You damn right. Give him a hand. And it started, and that whole thing started in the 1940s when World War II and all that, when they sent every white and black nigga and spit over to
Right.
Germany and Italy and everywhere else to fight the Germans and everybody else who was aligned with them. And
Right.
our women had to go work in factories. Our women had to go work